Well, in this video here today, everyone has property tax. If you own a property, you have some form of property tax. And what if you sent your check in the mail and it was cash, but for some apparent reason, they didn't get your money? uh, let's find out what happens when they don't receive your money.
You know the phrase, the check is in the mail? Well, this story gives all new meaning to it. These homeowners dropped their property tax payments in the mail as usual, and the checks were cashed right away, but not by the tax collector.
I thought, oh my gosh, did I forget?
Kathy Pham of San Jose was surprised to get this delinquency notice in the mail, saying she never paid her property taxes, but she thought sure she did.
My husband actually
Also, when it comes to this here, if you got a mortgage in your house, your property taxes is done through your mortgage, so it's already paid. And your insurance as well, it's already paid. Why your property tax is paid from the mortgage company? Because they don't want the city to foreclose on their $200,000 or $300,000 investment for a measly $1,500. So property taxes is usually always paid through your mortgage company. But since she had to pay her property tax herself, so chances are she owned her property free and clear.
took the check down to the post office and dropped it off.
In fact, her bank statement showed that check had cleared months ago.
I'm going to go to the county on Monday. I'm going to tell them that, hey, you guys cashed my check. And then my husband said, hey, let's look at the check. And that's when I almost fell over.
The check image showed a very different check than the one Kathy wrote. Criminals had stolen it from the mail, then used a pen to squeeze letters between the ones Kathy wrote to form a new name.
They kind of fit their name into those letters.
That person cashed her check, making off with her $2,400.
Not only did I have to pay the property tax again, I paid all that late fee.
Kathy went right down to Wells Fargo Bank. Surely her bank would refund her the money.
They denied it because I waited too long.
And I was in the other room and he went, bah!
The same thing happened to Jody Glaser of Los Altos and her husband, Paul. They dropped their property tax payment into a blue mailbox outside the post office. 3 months later, they got a late notice from the county.
I'm like, I know I paid it. I know I saw the check hit the account.
So they clicked on the check image. A big shock.
Clearly, the check had been altered and cashed by some.
I wonder who's stealing these people checks at the postal service. And I guarantee you, anybody there at that postal service been there for years, they know that a lot of people mail off their property tax. And when they come across certain mail that got the city clerk of court address on there, they know there's probably property tax money in there. So I'm pretty sure that's how they're getting these checks.
Somebody else.
The criminals probably know this. There's a chemical that will wipe away the ink.
To their surprise, the check image showed somebody had wiped off the name of the tax collector and put in a different one.
There was a woman's name. It was obviously not to the tax board.
The thief took their nearly $28,000, and the couple still had to pay their property taxes plus penalties, another 30 grand.
So now we're out 60,000.
They went back to their bank, also Wells Fargo, expecting a refund.
We, within 30 days, got an automated denial.
Same thing. Well, your claim was denied because you waited too long.
They said you have to notify within 30 days of the statement.
I went in as soon as I found out. So how can they say I waited too long?
Wells Fargo pointed to its 42-page deposit account agreement, which says customers must review bank statements each month and report unauthorized payments within 30 days or lose rights to a claim. But the homeowners say they did review their statements and they did not show any fraud.
The statement only shows the date and the amount. It doesn't say who cashed the check.
It only says check. As a result, they had no idea it was scammers who cashed their checks until the county sent delinquency notices 3 months later.
The only way we would have known is if we had downloaded the actual check and looked at it. Who does that?
But Wells Fargo says that's exactly what customers should do. The bank updated its account agreement last November to say customers must also review check images to preserve rights to a claim. That explicit clause was not in the agreement when the Glazers and Kathy filed their claims. But Wells Fargo said
that's a detailed part of banks to protect themselves from having to pay out what the fraudulent scammers do out there. They want you to read this fine detail. They want you to take all the extra precaution steps, which I understand that we should review our statements every single month to recognize something unauthorized on there that's being cashed. But I don't think that would have helped in this case here, because they would have still seen a $27,000 whatever check being cashed, but they probably still would not have picked up on who cashed it. It would have been understood that the city clerk cashed their check. So Wells Fargo is kind of walking the gray line there of this thing, and wow, and they're trying to protect themselves from not having to pay these people back.
Images were always available to them. In a statement, Wells Fargo said, "We empathize with our customers' situation. We never want to see anyone experience a financial scam or fraud. Our priority is to support our customers and raise awareness for them to avoid, detect, and promptly report incidents so we can act quickly together."
So we learned our lesson. Do not pay a big bill like that in the mail.
Turns out a thief deposited the Glazers' nearly $28,000 check into an ATM at a U.S. bank in Minnesota. And the mailbox where they dropped their check? It was sealed off and out of service due to many thefts at that box. Kathy was told the thief cashed her check at a Wells Fargo branch in South San Francisco. But for her, a happier ending. After 7 on Your Side encouraged her to appeal, Wells Fargo did refund Kathy's money.
It was such a relief.
The bank did not say why it refunded Kathy, but not the Glazers, citing privacy rules. But in a letter to the couple, Wells Fargo said it would continue trying to recover their funds.
Some random person stole the check and was easily able to write their name and cash it. That could happen all the time then.
I'm so traumatized. I don't think I'm going to be writing a check in a while.
Yeah, so frustrating. Experts say mail.
Yes, the easy fix is to pay electronically. I don't know who's still using checks these days. I was on the line in front of a lady, behind a lady one day, old lady, and she messed around and pulled out a check, and I said, I paid for it. It was only about $10. I said, I paid for it because I didn't have time for her to fill out that check, write it down, go in her balance book. That is so old school, people. Let me help you out, guys. So what you just realized, even if you got a check, you can be scammed. So pay your stuff online. Go online or pay it over the phone to those people, or don't send a check. But I do want to cover one thing. I think I know the reason why they refunded the $2,500 versus that almost $30,000. And it's very simple. I'd rather refund $2,500 versus $30,000, because at $30,000 you should have been looking, and the bank said, we're not taking that hit. That's exactly what happened, and this is sad. So the moral of the story: don't send checks through the mail, especially you have smart people that work in these post office, and they understand that if it's addressed to the clerk of court, chances are that it's a check. So, hey, guys, give me a thumbs up on the video, like and subscribe, and let's do deals.